Sing, keep singing.
राम आएंगे
राम
राम
आएंगे।
राम तो आ गए
मेरी झोपड़ी के भाग आज जल जाएंगे, राम आएंगे। मेरी No, no,
Would you
please.
like to sing?
Please.
Okay. Continue.
Doing beautiful.
Vrinda, you want to sing? Okay.
वृंदा थोड़ा
Do the moderation.
गले का भी थोड़ा इशू चल रहा है इसलिए बहुत एलर्जी चल रहा है ना तो बहुत कफिंग हो रहा है इसलिए बहुत सिंग नहीं कर रही है
Action.
Sautiliya Namavali Krishna. Yeah, yes. Huh? Go to the mic.
Wait.
No, it's okay.
Okay, the end is
Mataji, she sings very nicely. She comes to the temple also, started a very nice voice with a lot of devotions. She sings very nicely. I'm grateful she's here. So, thanks to all of you for joining today evening. And we have a very special guest today, Dhriti Mataji. So, she is Srila Prabhupada disciple. Prabhupada is the founder, Acharya of ISKCON, BBT. And she is her disciple. And she was born in Poland. And how she got connected. I had a stop layover in Poland last time I visited India, you know. So I was getting. So anyway, so Poland is in, you know where Poland is. And she was introduced to this art. You see all this art, she has made all of it. Painting. And she was introduced to this art at the age of, guess how many years? 5 years, yes. At the age of 5 years. And she formally studied later at the Art Students League at New York and the School Art and Design also New York. So from Poland all the way New York she came to study all this art. And then after completing her graduation in 1975 she went to Los Angeles. And in Los Angeles, you know, Prabhupada stayed and spent the most amount of time. And she was so interested towards the Krishna conscious philosophy because Krishna is all playful and joyful and happy, and you know Krishna has so many different paintings, so many different pastimes which can be converted into paintings. So she got attracted to Krishna consciousness and she started painting for all these books. You see Bhagavatam, you know, Prabhupada has written. So she made all these paintings for BBT, which is the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust Art Studio. She stayed in Los Angeles for 4 years working on many projects, including a 24-volume series of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, a classical Gaudiya Vaishnava text from India. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita also the pictures are there, that also you made. Wow, amazing. So that is a big contribution. You know, this Chaitanya Charitamrita is one of the, like the postgraduate studies of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's like very high level of philosophy there on the pure loving devotional service to Krishna. And then in 79, then she met her husband there, His Grace Ramdas Abhiram Prabhu, at the BBT Art Studio, where they worked together on many pieces. In 1979, they went to Florence, Italy, again from Los Angeles to Italy, where she headed the BBT Art Department. BBT is the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, where all these scripture books are published. And in Italy, she studied at the Accademia de Siena and began exhibiting her work in Italy, France, and England. She returned to the United States in 1986 and began following the impressionistic style of painting. Is anyone aware of that? Impressionistic? No. I am also not aware, so probably we'll hear from her. There are so many different styles, you know, whoever is expert, they will know about it. And though she is trained primarily in classical art, her work includes more varied use of color and strong gestural strokes inspired greatly by the artists Sargent, Chase, Sarola, Zorn, and her studies of Indian epics. I have never heard these names.
That's okay. It's okay. That's okay.
So,
We're good.
yeah, I'll leave
You
it
got
to
it. Okay. Hare Krishna. Nice to meet you all.
So let's welcome Mataji by chanting loudly Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. So, it's microphone, so it's okay. So that was all true. A little addition to those things. So I was born in Poland, but my family moved to New York when I was little. So anyway, yes, I was always interested in art, always. And my big sister, she was into it, so she encouraged me, anything. And then I went in New York they had many nice schools for art, so I went to a wonderful art school for high school. And in the school, a little story, I really wanted to go to this school. You had to be accepted, you know, you had to submit your work and be accepted. I really was nervous, I really wanted to go, so I made a deal with God. I said, if you let me go accept in the school, then I'll do whatever you want. And so, it happened. I got accepted to the school, and in the school were other students who were going to the Hare Krishna temple in New York at that time. So this is 1974. And I wasn't really friends with them, actually. They were older But somehow we kept running into each other. And this one student, and he said, "Oh, you should go to the Sunday feast, you should go." And then, I was really just into painting. He goes, "No, you should go, you should go." So I went eventually, and I walked in the door, and the only way I can explain it is I fell in love. It was like falling in love. I remember walking in and just going, "Oh, okay." I don't know. I mean, I used to see the devotees street sometimes doing Harinam chanting or something, but it was when I walked into the temple that I was just, my heart was melted. And fortunately at that time the press, the book production was being done there. And so right away I met Jadharani and Muralidhar, all these artists, devotee artists, and they kind of, said, "Oh, when you graduate school," because I was still 16, "when you finish high school, come join us." I went, "Okay." And so in that time though, and so I used to see the paintings and I just thought they were magical and wonderful, and I would love to do that for the rest of my life. And then the BBT, the art department, they moved to Los Angeles. So in that time I finished school and I arrived in Los Angeles. I also, afterwards, I flew to Los Angeles to join the art department. And that was right in the middle of Chaitanya Charitamrita Marathon. You must have heard of it. It was quite a intense time. Prabhupada wanted so many books printed very quickly. He was tired of waiting, and so everybody went on this intensified marathon to print the books, and including the artists had to illustrate them. So literally the day I arrived, the devotee who greeted me, Jadharani, she was a very senior devotee, she said, "Are you hungry?" And I said, "No." I was so excited. And she said, "Good." And she handed me a paintbrush. And that was the end of my everything. I just started painting immediately, and it was just, and Prabhupada was translating very quickly, so we were always very engaged and very absorbed, and it was a wonderful, intense time. It was, I wouldn't say it was fun, it was just intense and electrifying, because you were, Prabhupada would translate the text, from Sanskrit or Bengali, and we would get the translation, we would get the first translation before they got edited. And we would have, the artists would have a meeting, and we would decide which paintings and who would do what, and we were in this production mode, and it was very exciting. And so we needed that information first, because the paintings took a little longer before, all the different other stages of the printing process. And we always sent our drawings first to Srila Prabhupada to see, is this okay, is this, acceptable, did we make something up, we don't know so many things, but we always had that contact with him. And it was very wonderful, because we were very closely related. Our work was always seen by him, and it was printed. So very early on, I was a teenager actually. And, here I'm working in production and in something I loved. I was already very involved in art. I was very serious, always very serious about art. But now this was just magnifying that purpose for myself, that I could offer something and connect it to God, which is, yoga means connection, that connection to the divine. So this was my yoga, actually. And for me it was perfect, because I could be totally absorbed, and then of course it was, so many people would see it, and Prabhupada would see it, and they were published, and they're still published, and they're still used. But that, just set my life on track, because that's, honestly, it's all I've ever done in my whole life. And I feel very, very fortunate that was a gift that I got from making that original deal with Krishna. That he said, okay, then here you go.
It's a beautiful deal.
It was a beautiful deal, absolutely, absolutely. And also in that time, my husband was also in the art department. He was also an artist. And after some years, then we got together. And my husband was very smart. He was very, he's lovely, lovely. He passed away 3 years ago, so that's why I speak in that way. He was very wise, actually. And he said, "You and me together, it'll be great. We'll make it even better. You know, your input, you know, my input, it'll be even better than just individually." So we joined and became, you know, this of course a couple, but also an art team, you know, in devotional service. So I would say that joining, that the service, this art service, was our glue that kept us very, very tight for 40 years. We were very absorbed in this and did this very happily, actually. And so we started, his strength, what he did wonderfully in art was he did beautiful landscape and like in these paintings, the cows and everything else. And I could just focus on the figures. And so we were a team. And it was very nice. I think it was because we were also, it was also his nature, so there was no competitiveness, because the goal was always to produce a beautiful offering of a painting to Krishna. That was always the priority. And sometimes we would disagree, believe me, and we would have our issues, but ultimately, just like when you're raising a child, you might have different opinions and different, you know, disagree. And you might have fights and this and that, but ultimately, you want your children to succeed and to prosper and to thrive and be wonderful individuals. So these were, for many years, these were our children, you might say. We were putting them out into the world. And later we had our daughter. We had that too. But this was very, very important for us. And he was absolutely right. So, you know, I got to just focus on things that were my strengths, were the figures and the expressions and things like that. And he would work with them, you know, so that it's almost seamless. It doesn't look like there's two people who did, you know. And, you know, you may have heard, you know, artists can be very, territorial, and this is mine, and this is yours. But we were able, in service to Krishna, to forget that, to put that aside, and just, you know, make it something as beautiful as possible, and as with love. You know, this is bhakti yoga that we're practicing. So we're trying to offer these things with love to Krishna. And whatever one does, whatever someone does. So this was our world. So we truly tried to offer that, you know, to Krishna, to our guru, and to the world, actually. So, you know, I've been doing this a long time. You know, 49 years, and, you know, I've met many different people along the way, you know, many beautiful devotees, of course, but also people who are not devotees, who don't know anything about this at all. But it was like an amazing thing to see some of these paintings and cry. They have no idea what the story is, but they're touched somehow with emotion, and that is, I feel, is also Krishna's gift to us. That I got to see that. It was very, and Prabhupada used to say that. He would say that, you know, the paintings transcend language. As you know, a painting can say 1,000 words without anyone, because you can just feel it, and that is that's the power of it. And we did get to see that often. And so I'm rather hooked on it. You know, and for me also personally, I want to see Krishna. So I have my own selfish thing there, where I read the pastimes and the different lila, and my tendency, because in this life this is what I was kind of born with, an artistic tendency, and so I start visualizing and imagining what it could look like, and so that captivates me also, because I want to see it. I read something and I want to see it, so I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a try, and that's what I've been doing.
This painting also Mataji made, the one that is there.
Yes.
It is here.
Yeah.
So Mata, Prabhupada also explains in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna looks like something like this. Can you explain how Krishna actually looks like, based on the scriptures?
Well, in the scriptures, Prabhupada's books, he's very detailed. And, Krishna looks like this, he's this color. He has different things he wears, and this color and that color. So we needed also even more information. We need to detail, even further details. So like Prabhupada would say, Krishna didn't have long hair. Like sometimes I see paintings of Krishna, I'm like, whoa, okay. The artist has gone way far into their imagination and just done whatever they want. So, the way I was trained was very specific, and it was only, we trusted that Prabhupada had the vision. He was connected. So through him, that's how I see. I just want to see through Prabhupada's eyes. And so he would explain, like his body was soft. It wasn't muscular and mundane. And he used to call it a milk drinker's body. It was very soft. But then he was unlimitedly strong. He was with Arjuna on the battlefield. So that was very challenging. And also he never appeared older than 16 years old. 16 is very desirable. It's very like the prime of life, like, everyone would like to be youthful and beautiful. So even though he was engaged in so many, later he became a king in Dwarka, or he was on the battlefield with Arjuna, but he never was an old man or started deteriorating like us in material world. So that was challenging, how to depict his strength, but he's still a young boy, really. How do you do that? That's that, and all those challenges will be forever my challenge. I will always be trying to imagine, what is that? How? And I find that fascinating, that it keeps me interested. It's described, Prabhupada would explain, what Radha looks like, and she's always a young girl, and she's shy, and there's so many beautiful, I recommend if you ever come to contact with Nectar Devotion, it's sublime. There's so many beautiful almost little phrases, even little sentences of descriptions of the rasa, or Krishna did this and Krishna did that, or even a dialogue. Krishna said this to one of his friends, the cowherd boys, and they said, it's very in depth. And I found that fascinating, that there's so many options really for spirituality in this world, so many paths, and I'm sure they all have connection to God and to something transcendent. But the amount of information and beauty that's expressed in the Vedas and in Vaishnava literature is, I think, fantastic. And again, captivating. It captivated me. I will only speak for myself. It captivated me. That I've stayed with it for so long. The Maha Mantra, all these ways of expressing. You sing beautifully. All these things that someone comes with, they're all gifts from Krishna. How to use them for him, and then they become sweeter. even sweeter. And so that's been my little experience. You know, again, someone might love shlokas and Sanskrit and studying and they're very academic. Go for it. There's so much available, you know, or you know, singing or dancing. There's so many ways to connect, to have that yoga with Krishna, and I think that's what sets the bhakti path apart from others. It's truly, Prabhupada used to say, dovetailing. He used that word a lot. So you come with whatever you have, and you offer it as best you can to Krishna. Someone has a great cook, or they love to speak, or they just love to read, or even your consciousness. You know, you're thinking, or you're working, you're doing your other jobs and for your life, for your families. That's fantastic. But remember Krishna somewhere in there, that he's a part of your moments of life. How to incorporate Krishna, God, into every moment of your life. That's an art. It's an art. And you know, for me it was this way, and everyone has to find their own way that they can apply that. And I think I'm an example of it's possible, you know, very possible. Your children are, you know, they're here for a little while with us. We've kind of permitted their company for a while, but they're also individual souls, and it's nice to kind of direct them or to connect them with a higher consciousness, a higher purpose, you know, who they are. And anyway, it's all available. It's all available. And so again, whatever is your thing, your direction in life, it's all, that was Prabhupada's mission. And it was, you know, it wasn't necessarily to change everything. You know, I'm definitely, this is what I do. And here was an avenue that just, it perfectly flowed into offering, as an offering, a seva for Krishna.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Any questions? I'm open. Whatever you want to know.
Motherji, how long does it take for you to finish a painting in general?
I'll give the funny answer. It's, the funny answer is 40 years. But the literal answer is usually some months for each one. So in the early days, we were very, there was deadlines, serious deadlines. So I got to learn how to paint really quickly. And to solve, painting is problem solving. It looks like it's all fun, but it's not really fun. It's kind of solving problems. You have you know, you read something, now make it, you know. Someone asked me recently, and they said, did you copy something? Are you getting this from somewhere? Is it like, you know, no, you just would, you know, read Prabhupada's books. And again, in our literature, there was so much wonderful, wonderful information that it opened the doors to so many possibilities. So, yeah, a few months, generally. And some of these paintings, especially when we were in Italy and we had the department there, the temples in Europe are very, like many of them are old castles and villas and huge walls, like incredibly tall, so our paintings got bigger. Because now, you know, often the paintings were going into these places, into the temples. So we thoroughly enjoyed, like, yes, making, you know, gigantic Krishnas. It was like, it was amazing. It was kind of fun. You know, very exciting to see that. And then you see sometimes, to be honest, you get a little bit in the zone. If I was lucky, I got into a focus. And I would almost forget myself a little bit. And I don't want to sound too like, ooh, it almost felt like something else was moving my hand. Because some of these paintings, and there are others that are very complicated, with many figures, and there's a lot to do. And you know, I didn't feel that I was so qualified, like to do these scenes. But somehow they got done. And I'd be like, who did that? A little bit removed, like I know I was physically doing, but it still felt very, there was a detachment from it. I'm still a little bit, I also look at them and go, oh, nice. A little bit, I know that sounds a little funny, but you know, basically I always thought of myself as a simple girl from New York, and then somehow I got thrown into this amazing life. And it's just magical. Yeah.
Just beautiful. So my question is, if I have no knowledge about arts, okay, I have no idea. So my question is, if you are drawing any creative nature, we have full liberty, whatever that runs in our mind, we can draw, etc. But we are drawing God's picture. Automatically, when you think, you will get 1,000 doubts, right? Oh, whether this is like this, like that, or because there is no any kind of reference where we saw in person or etc. So every time when you land in the situation, you refer books and.
Yes.
Okay.
Always. Everything you see that I've ever done. That was how we were raised, you might say. That's how everyone in the art department operated. That we always read. It was never just, I think I'll make up about that. And for me, it was also inspiring to read the words, and then it would drive my imagination to visualize. So I'm a visual artist. So I always felt Prabhupada was he was also an artist. I felt his words were often very poetic. And you know, to translate and to, of course, give the purports, you know, his connection to Krishna was very unique and pure and a deep connection. So I reverted to his purity and his vision of Krishna. I trusted that because, yeah, who am I? I'm nobody. So, but through that connection, just like, what's the example, you know, if you put your hand in fire, you'll get burnt. You also become fire-like, it'll burn. You know, so by connecting to Prabhupada, to Krishna, to the holy, to Mahamantra, you also get that connection to divinity, because Krishna is absolute, and he can make that connection. You know, he's not limited by, oh, he's over there and we're over here and that's it. But we can have, I'm sure many perhaps have felt it by chanting, where you get so absorbed that you feel something else. Even you don't know what it is, but you feel something else, something otherworldly or something that you want to taste it again. You know, you want to kind of return there, try it again and again. You know, it says, Prabhupada used to say that when we chant, Krishna is dancing on our tongue. He's present in his name. And this was, you know, this is Vedic, it's not just Prabhupada speaking. It's in the Shastra, so many places. You know, so we're trying to follow, you know, a parampara, tradition, and continue. So by that continuity, we are also connected, you know, and we can do more than we think, you know. amazing things are possible. You know, Krishna breathed in and breathed out the universes. So, you know, he can help us along. And we're all naturally, originally spiritual jiva. We're not, we're jiva with a body at this moment. But we're naturally, our actual identity is spirit soul. We're not this. Feels like we are, it's pretty here, it's pretty concrete and all that, but actually what's moving this body is the soul. So to get reacquainted and reconnected with the soul is a wonderful opportunity. So we kind of have that opportunity. That's how I see it. And I'm grateful that this life I got to do that. I get to do that. Not I got, I get to do that as much as I want to. We all have that free will. You make the choices. One makes choices every moment to yes, to connect or not to connect. But if you can also find something that you love to do and make that connection and offer it, whatever it is, even a mental offering. Because a mental, see, this is so cool. It's would describe, it's all Chintamani. Once you're connected to Krishna, you don't have to literally be there. You can, in your consciousness, you can feel that connection. You know, even subtly, you can make the connection with Krishna, with God. You don't, like if you want to see a friend, you have to go or talk to them. You have to make, it's a very physical, thank you, connection. But with Krishna, thinking of Krishna, you have the same blessing. And you can feel it. One can feel it. As much as you give, as much as we give, we can experience. But it's available. It's now, it's being offered. You know. Krishna didn't leave us here high and dry, you know that expression? Just kind of like, here, well, you wanted the material world, here you go. We're here, but there's also ways of, and information how to reconnect. So that maybe we will not have to do this again. And again, I know, how long have we been doing this? Probably a long time, you know, samsara, coming back and doing it again and again and again and again. So maybe this is an opportunity. Prabhupada used to say, we have so many lives, why don't we give one? Give one to Krishna. But he would also say, and I was present at these classes, and he would give a beautiful lecture and talk about Leela or philosophy, so many things. And at the end he would say, so, chant and be happy. And I remember, because I was quite young, I go, I can try that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it. And yeah. And it's not that, all your hardships will go away and, you know, the challenges of life will disappear. They won't. Because we are still here and we will have so many challenges. But there's a sweetness that we can draw from, that we can get some perhaps strength and maybe wisdom, insight also. It's available, I have found. So. Okay, is that sort of
Yes.
answer that?
I'm a very bad painter.
Yes,
If I make a fish, it will look like a bird or something. You know?
everybody says.
But what are few lessons you learned from painting in life which we can apply? You know, what are few lessons that you actually learned?
Okay. I always experienced that doing this was an excellent opportunity to apply Bhagavad Gita, detachment, because, and also my name, Dhriti, means determination. And again, it seems like I have a lot of fun doing this. It's like, but it's not really. It takes a lot of that that whatever you do in life, to have that determination, that's to stay with it. You know, there's, like I said earlier, the paintings are like an opportunity. I have to do this, now I have to solve the it's a puzzle, I have to unsolve it, and it's like a equation. And it can be very frustrating, and I want to throw in the towel, and I don't want to do it, and maybe I have to take a break, but I have to return. So in life, we may have so many challenges, and like, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of fighting, I'm tired of thinking about something. Or you do something and you don't get the result. Many times, doesn't come like this, I promise you. And so I have to have a sense of detachment and think, okay, let me try again, and sort of leave a little bit of a space open for Krishna's help, you know, because I can't really, I don't quite know how these happen exactly. I mean, I know I'm applying myself, but the result in anything, I think, is up to Krishna, up to God. So we have to endeavor, but the result, you know, that's what Krishna told Arjuna, you fight. The result is already there. But if you fight, you will get the honor of it. They will say, Arjuna did this battle, but Arjuna didn't want to fight. He had a zillion reasons. He didn't want to do it anymore. And Krishna said, no, you can't give up. So I've learned not to give up.
Nice.
There we go.
Thank you.
There we
Very
go.
nice. Very nice.
Okay.
Okay, any more last question, or we can wrap up? Maybe you can
If
ask,
anyone
maybe
else-
during Prasadam time you can ask? Okay, so now we'll have, so Mataji has got all these paintings, so I would highly recommend, if you want, you can take it, and she has dedicated her life, this life for Krishna, and for all these books, if you see the Srimad Bhagavatam in different books, the paintings that are there, some of these are made by Mataji, right Mataji?
Some of them.
Some of them, here. These books, it is said, you know, that they will stay here for 10,000 years. These scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, what Prabhupada has translated from Sanskrit language to English. So, very huge contribution. So please, if you like, you can take these paintings and support her for her dedicated life. So again, thank you very much, Mataji, for coming.
Welcome. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Again, it's not my forte to speak. This is where, that's why I was happily like, okay, I just paint. That's all I want to do.
But you spoke from the heart, so that
I
is,
try. Yes, that's all I
so
do.
that is the most important thing. Thank you so much. Very,
You're
very
welcome.
nice.
Thank you.
So if you have any questions, you can ask, and by that time we will serve prasadam also. And if anyone wants to take the paintings, you can take. Thank
Can
you.
I take all?
You can take. There is a donation, how much? So $40 donation for one.
Taking classes or
No, I don't live here. I don't live here. I came home to, actually, make the detox. They needed some refreshing. So I live about 7 hours away from here. But, so, you know, my husband had to do his so
उसको पेंटिंग चाहिए फिरो फिरो
the old time.
फिरो उसको पेंटिंग चाहिए
All अच्छा कितना
So we face